Hello, this Fishy, and I'm back after a while to analyze the second track of Squaredance. Sorry for the hiatus, I guess you could say. I lost motivation the first time I tried to transcribe this because it was a bit of a daunting task, but I came to it a couple days ago and powered through it. Just like last time, not all my transcriptions will be correct. I'm only human after all. Anyway, without further ado, let's jump into the title track of Squaredance, Squaredance. Now, I will say, I did spend around 20 minutes on Audacity just to find a tempo, and the most good enough value I was willing to try is 180.15 BPM, and it's an alright approximation. Anyway, after a hit on a kick and the tail of a crash, we get a repeating 2-bar melody and bass line, where one voice only plays at a time. The first 16th note of the bass line is removed from the introduction. This is most likely just because having it would make the low end muddy. In case it wasn't obvious, we're in C major. The melody mostly stems from the 5th scale degree, G. On the last note of both bars of the melody, it resolves to the root of the scale, C. The rhythm of this section is based on a 3-3-3-3-2-2 pattern, which I've seen called a double trisio. After 8 bars, we get another 4-bar melody comprised of minims playing over the backdrop. I'm calling this melody the A section melody. It starts on an E, the 3rd scale degree, steps up to the G a third above before overshooting down back to D, then stepping into another following E. After this is a simple walk down from F to C. After the second time this repeats, M adds another voice to harmonize with it. The intervals for it start to seem a little random, but it starts to make a little bit more sense if you stop thinking about it as purely just harmony to sound good and more harmony to outline chords. The first bar is outlining a C chord, the 1 chord. The second bar outlines more of a E-7 chord, but I'm willing to say it's more fitting as a G-6 chord instead, for reasons you'll see later. The third bar outlines an F major 7, the 4 chord, and the fourth bar is just a resolve to C's an octave apart. The fifth bar is outlining a C. The sixth bar is outlining what definitely feels like it shouldn't be a G chord. I mean, there's no G, but I'm sticking with it. The seventh bar is outlining an F major 7 again, lacking the C, and the eighth bar once again resolves to C. The last B of the section is cut off by what sounds like a hit on a kick and a snare. You'll see this a lot in the track. After that, we get into the A section. First off, the drums are a simple kick on 1 and 3 and snare and clap on 2 and 4, with reversed open hats on offbeats. And the chords for this are a very basic 1, 5, 4, or C major, G major, F major. The G in the second bar is why I chose to analyze the supposed E-7 as a G-6. The A section melody is playing, but in a staccato rhythm, where the melody and the bass aren't playing over each other. Speaking of the bass, it's just playing a 1-3-1 followed by a 1-5-1 pattern in between the notes of the A section melody. On the offbeats, stabs of pseudo chords are played. Nothing special, just the chords already being implied. Somehow, while transcribing this, I didn't notice the really obvious bass under it, but to what I hear, cause I don't feel like transcribing this properly, it's just playing root notes. Anyway, this repeats 4 times with a kick, snare, and clap hit, and beat before the B section. And so the B section starts. The drums remain the same. The B section melody is based on Tresillo's 3-3-2, and the notes are just outlining the chord 2 notes at a time. The chords are C, G, A minor, and F, or 1, 5, 6 minor, and 4, otherwise known as the axis progression, famous for being used in a bunch of pop songs. The bass line was kind of really hard to transcribe, and I still don't think I got it perfect, but it moves up and down the chord in quick semi-quavered patterns with minimal rest. After 8 bars of this, another melody introduces itself. The melody is quick, and takes care not to attack directly on beats 2 and 4. On the first beat, we get 4 semi-quavers lined up, starting with the root, jumping down to the 5th, and jumping back up again. Then on the E of 2, we get another C, quickly jumping up to play the other 2 notes of the chord together. M repeats this 2-beat phrase, then drops it to the 5th, repeats that, and then for bar 3, you start the bar with an A, drop it down to the 5th of the chord below, stay for the rest of the beat, then on the E of 2, jump to the C above, go up to the E, walk back down to the C, repeat that 2-beat phrase, but instead of going to E back down to C, walk up from C to E. The D in that walk up is the only non-chord tone in this entire 4-bar melody. For the 4th bar, M repeats the phrase used in the 1st and 2nd bars, but drop down to the 4. M repeats that again, but instead of playing the 3rd and 5th together, they play the 5th first and then the 3rd. Repeating this 4-bar melody twice, and cut out the last beat for a kick snare clap hit, and the kick crash hit the following beat to start the next section.
Alright, time for the change up.
Okay, so I did nearly notate this entire section in swing, but after listening to the bass, I made the very much needed decision of notating it in 12/8 instead. The voice line takes up 2 bars. Is the section 2 beats longer to compensate? No, it's not. Meaning the first time the A section melody plays here, the first half is snipped off. The drums are mostly the same, except for being in the new groove. The bass is arpeggiating chords, alternating between octave 5th 3rd and 5th 3rd root. When the first half of the melody is played for the first time, it jumps to the root note of the chord in between notes. After 8 bars, or 6 bars if you don't count the voice line, another voice plays the A section melody, but in legato instead of staccato like the other voice playing. And in the last D of the melody, the legato voice plays the triplet, with C as a sort of neighbor tone, though C is a chord tone, before both voices play an E. Repeat the last 4 bars again, cutting out the last beat with the kick clap. We start the variation of the B section with a kick and cymbal hit. They'll leave out the rest of the drums. M uses the Tresilloed B melody with a new bass line that only reuses the roots and fifths of the chords, playing both at the end of phrases. After repeating it twice, cutting 2 beats of the last bar for a walk down the scale from F to C and another hit, the second half of the B section plays again. After that, the second half of the intro plays. After that, we have the outro, a simple drum beat like sections before, but there's a high-pass drum break over it. The bass repeats a pattern of Cs an octave apart on every offbeat, and every other bar has octave stabs with another chord tone on every offbeat. The first and third beats have a third on top, while the second and fourth beats have a fifth on top. After 8 bars, cut off the last beat with just the drum break playing, and then the section repeats without the break for 7 bars, before being interrupted by a short 2-beat run of semiquavers before holding down a C harmonized with an E and being pitched down. Okay, that was the second track of Squaredance. Stay tuned for track 3, Avast Your Ass. Bye bye now.